For as long as I can remember, I've been an incredibly anxious person. As a child, I was told I lacked resilience and experienced homesickness, and from a young age felt so incapable or overly emotional compared to my peers. This saw me turn to internalising my emotions so as not to appear weak. I was diagnosed with ADHD and OCD, presenting in the form of BFRBs. I wish I could help my younger self to understand the validity in her experience and that vulnerability isn't weakness. She is my reason to fight for myself and others like her every day.
Hey you, if I could give some advice to my younger self or to someone who can relate to where I have been, it would be that you'll be okay. Please stop being so hard on yourself and that there are so many people who genuinely care about you. Spending all of my childhood in and out of hospitals, undergoing skin grafts, treatments, over 500 surgeries and more, has meant that I have a lot of ongoing challenges. Because of all I've been through, I struggle with complex PTSD. I continue to work on emotional regulation, on my triggers, on feeling at home and safe in my body.
When you look at your mental and physical health, why do you think it's harder to speak about mental health?
It's harder to talk about mental health because there's still a lot of misunderstanding, and I think, it's easier to talk about physical health because it's a bit obvious. And yeah, I think, there's that stigma, there's that, what will people sort of think? It's, I guess, harder to sort of talk about something, as you've said, that might not be visible, to other people, and having to explain what that means and how that manifests.
I've had experiences with sort of school teachers and adults across, my teenage years where I've sort of had to prove that it's bad enough, which is a class, which is, I think, is really hard. That's that really trying to find ways.
Prove your pain.
Well, yeah, but yeah, exactly. Trying to prove that I'm mentally unwell to the point where they can say, okay, fair enough.
When we say mental health comes in all shapes or forms or sizes, it doesn't matter who you are, where your background is, what family, friends you've got. I don't know where you are in your journey right now, but if you're in a tough spot, I want you to know you're not alone. I've been where you are, feeling like everything is too much to handle. I grew up without my dad, watched my biological mum endure abuse, and bounced between homes before finally being taken in by a family who showed me what love and stability could look like. I lost one of my best friends to suicide, a pain that still lives with me. Each of these moments shaped who I am today, though they've often felt like they would break me. When I was in high school, I didn't even know what mental health was, let alone that I was struggling with it. My classroom teacher saw what I couldn't and encouraged me to see the school counsellor. That small step set me on the path of learning to understand myself better.
I could relate to a lot of things that you said. I grew up without my father also, and I also had a friend take his life, and his name was Travis, so that's pretty ironic. So I really appreciate your story, bro.
Similar to you, I was also raised by people that weren't necessarily my family, and I also lost someone to suicide as well, so I felt connected, I guess, to your story.
What was one of your biggest turning points in your journey?
One of my best mates committing suicide. It really hurt me in a lot of ways where I sort of felt helpless in a way. Between all our mates, we tried to help him as much as we could, and to this day I felt like I could have done more, but I know now we gave him as much help as we could, and so that's been a huge turning point in my life to try to do better, try to inspire the younger people.
I find it refreshing that you have found a very similar purpose to trauma that I have, and I actually haven't spoken to many people that have the same experience, taking what you've been through and choosing to inspire people through your pain.
I am writing this letter to share my journey with mental health as a young person in New Zealand, with the hopes that sharing my experience can offer a sense of hope to those who are facing similar struggles now. It's weird looking back on my own mental health journey now, as a lot of it was a blur. Before I was able to understand, my grandma put me in therapy. This was from age 5 to 7, due to being through foster care, witnessing family violence, and active drug addiction. This also affected my 4 younger siblings from a young age. The turning point for me came when I was 13 years old. My grandma found my suicide note and honestly, very calmly took me to get help.
How do you feel? I think I feel quite similar, not growing up with my biological father. How do you feel about becoming a mum after the lack of bringing up that you endured?
I think it's literally happening. So I'm currently 6 months pregnant. And it's like, obviously mental health is a lifelong thing. So this is just adding a layer of things that I'm working through now. And so it's been really, really weird because like I was raised by my grandma, and so she's like amazing and I love her so much. But it's different than like having a mom.
And how do you feel about having the opportunity to raise a child and give that child what you didn't have?
I think that's like, it's like all, that's everything I want.
It's like your why.
Yeah, and it's just been like life-changing.
I would just say, I hope you're proud of yourself for now becoming someone who's creating life from someone who wanted to end theirs. And I think that that in itself is growth to a huge height. So.
It's breaking cycles is such a hard thing to do.
It's amazing.
And to be in a place in yourself where you are celebrating your life and you're excited, you've got, your future is so bright. From a place that's so dark, I think there's so much resilience in that.
What I would say to someone going through feeling like they don't want to live anymore, find a light, something, anything, cling to that. For me, it was my grandma. I feel really lucky to have been blessed with her in my life, and so I got to cling to her, and she clung to me and gave me the life that I need, like the energy and light that I needed at that time.
Dear friend, I want you to know that where you are right now doesn't define where you'll end up. I've been there in the depths of depression, feeling like there was no way out. When I was 15, bullying and home struggles pushed me to a point where I thought ending my life was the only option. Over time, I built a career, earned a degree, pursued athletics, and started my clothing brand, Chad Co, which supports mental health awareness. But even with those achievements, the weight of my depression, PTSD, bipolar, and other challenges caught up with me. In 2022, I attempted to take my life again. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is that your pain doesn't define you, it shapes you. Everything you've been through can become a building block for growth. For me, a major motivator has been the goal of becoming a father. Someday, healing myself and becoming the best version of me isn't just about me. It's about creating a better future for the people I care about. I've tried really hard on platforms like social media to share my story. And this is actually the first time I've ever shared my story with people with the same or different versions of the same story. And it's crazy. And for the first time, I think I feel like I belong.
That's great. That's so great.
It's like after feeling like you're a freak. You're a freak your whole life, and no one else is going through it.
Yeah.
So I'm just really grateful to still be here.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
And we need to change that.
I mean, that was so empowering. I think I totally resonate with feeling like it was never gonna iron itself out. And so to be talking to you guys, and the older I get, the more the conversations come up, it does feel like there are so many people that care and that understand and that resonate. And I think we all grow so much as people by hearing the experiences of others, which is amazing, makes it all worth it.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that. It was something pretty special. Turn out how you are now without going through all that stuff, Don't change who you are. Don't ever keep being you, yeah? That shit matters the most, man. Yeah? Never stop being you, G. All right?
Good job.
What do you do now in terms of, supporting yourself and making sure, you're looking after your mental health and well-being?
I think it's important to acknowledge and be thankful for the fact that I've seen people deal with their problems and trauma the wrong way. Seeing my dad and even my mother, I was really fortunate to see what not to do. So I've luckily fell into fitness, I fell into throwing, I fell into music. Music saved my life. Getting my music degree as someone with dyslexia, someone who's not good in school, getting a degree, and I go for a run and I run fast. And I go and eat some food and I eat good, because it's like that pain, I put that pain into pleasure. And when I play gigs, I'm playing a gig tomorrow, I'm so excited.
What I thought was so powerful, as you said, that you were scared of tomorrow, and I think you should, you wanting to be a father, to look back and look at the tomorrow that you've built for yourself and for a future family, I think is so beautiful, to be so scared of tomorrow. And now you look at your tomorrow and it's filled with so much light and excitement and happiness. I think you should be so, so proud of yourself. That's amazing. When I look back at myself, 12 to 14, that young age, I would just hope to anyone that was in my position, now, to see us as a beacon of hope. I know it sounds cliche, but, we all have pushed through as much as we could.
I think being here, being in this space, allowing us all to express our journeys, our stories, it really makes me feel like I'm not alone. There's, like how you were saying, Jay, about for once feeling like we belong, like we are known, we're heard, like there are people that are going through similar things, and I think that's like the main purpose of like why we want to do this, is so that we can show so many out there that they aren't battling this alone, We share the same struggles. How cool is that though, Amelia?
I know.
We haven't known each other at all, don't know our stories, but then to be openly and willingly to be vulnerable and share that with each other, I think that's quite an awesome thing. Yeah. Hey, Claudia.
Absolutely.
I think what we've done today is a huge sign that it's important for people to realise that life isn't good without bad, and life isn't bad without good. It's all beautiful, and I think when we all realise that what we've been through, even though so painful, it's brought us here in a position where we can help other people. And I personally would not change one thing about my past, and I think it's all beautiful. Even though I struggle, but the struggle's beautiful, man, because it means that I can help people, we can help people.
Well, it's that growth, right?
And if you want to grow, then you've got to be willing to go through the growing pains.
I think the dark makes the light a lot brighter.